Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So as promised, I'm bringing you guys a combo video on my Counter Fairy deck. I meant to bring this out to you guys a couple days ago, but things have been fairly hectic at work, so I didn't have time to actually record. And most of the time when I did come home, I was just like exhausted. So yeah, but anyway, I'm trying to catch up now. That way I can stay on my schedule, get another poll out ready for you guys to start doing some votes again. I'm in the process of getting my hero deck updated with the new support that just came out today. And I just got Sunrise. If you haven't seen my post already, I should have a Liquid Man ordered actually in a couple of hours once I find a good deal for it. But generally, yeah, I'm gonna check out eBay and all that good stuff. But that's not what I want to get into right now. I just wanted to show you guys at least a couple test hands on how Counter Fairies play. So like Sky Strikers or Subterra Guru or any back row heavy strategy, that's really all the deck focuses on is back row. So you just really set as much back row as you can and basically just pressure your opponent and just take control of the duel from there. So Counter Fairies, as I mentioned, does have a lot of potential. It's just like it just needs a little bit more to give it that edge it needs to make it like very strong. It could definitely be a viable option for regionals. It's pretty good in the locals, but it's just like it does suffer some problems because it burns out pretty fast. But that's why I decided to put together the way I did, so that way I can keep like recurring my resources. So like always, I'll just do 2 test hands and that's it. So let's see what we got. Okay, so oh nice, Zeratis. That'll search us out our Sanctuary in the Sky, Solemn Warning, Pot of Duality. Okay, Bountiful Artemis. That's literally our best normal summon, and okay, Solemn Judgment. So let's start by discarding, Zeratis. You search out the Sanctuary in the Sky. And the reason why this is important is because like any battle damage involving a fairy monster is 0. And plus certain counter traps like our Divine Punishment requires Sanctuary in the Sky to be on the field. Now thankfully Sanctuary of Parshath also counts as or Sanctum of Parshath, I'm sorry, counts as Sanctuary in the Sky, so that's really good too. But yeah, that's the general idea, is like you want to make full use of Sanctuary in the Sky in any way possible, so that's why you definitely want to search that out. So we're going to go ahead and activate that. You're going to go ahead and normal summon your Bountiful Artemis, and the reason for this is because it gives you draw power for each time you activate a counter trap, and it just keeps going, and it's not once per turn, thankfully. So go ahead and activate Pot of Duality. Let's see what we got. Okay, Solemn Strike, Barrier Statue, and Ultimate Providence. If anything, I'll probably just go for Solemn Strike. That way we at least have one of each of the Solemn cards at the ready. One to negate monster effects or inherent summons, one to negate any summon, and one that can negate any summon as well as spells and traps. So, boom. Now this may cost you a lot of life points, but sometimes that's just worth it, because there are ways you can actually recur those life points, and plus the whole purpose, as I mentioned, is to keep building up your advantage. So first, you just set all 3 of these face down and just end your turn. Your opponent starts, if he does a normal summon, you could just instantly hit him with Solemn Warning. Usually Solemn Warning by itself is always going to be enough, because if your opponent commits to his normal summon too early and has no follow-up play, that's usually going to be the way to go about that. And of course you pay 2,000 life points, and of course Artemis allows you to draw 1 card. If your opponent tries to use some kind of spell or trap or whatever, most likely a spell, of course, considering it's his first turn, you would then just use Solemn Judgment, which then you just pay half of your life points. If we were already at 6,000 thanks to Solemn Warning, we'd be at 3,000. And once again, you get to draw another card. And if your opponent still attempts to do something like with a monster effect, well then, Solemn Strike. Of course, that'll put us down to 1,500 right off the bat, but again, sometimes that is always worth it. And at least we could draw 1 more card. Alright, so now the idea now is just to keep figuring out how to get back into the game without... Because sometimes those counter traps can be risky. That's one of the big problems with the deck too. I forgot to mention that. Is that if you don't have the Guiding Ariande, you could potentially lose the duel faster than you can win it. Our next draw was Valkyria. You would normal summon that, of course. And if you wanted to, you can go ahead and activate Sanctum Parshat and just go from there. But now we don't really have much of anything else left to play, because all we can do is just attack. But thankfully, like I said, Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, so any battle damage involving fairies gets reduced to 0. So, boom. We are primarily safer now, but like I said, you can't rely too heavily on this card. So, these cards get a power boost thanks to Sanctum. You could keep attacking and so on. But again, if your opponent happens to find ways out this, it can be kind of troublesome. So just be mindful of that. Okay, the next draw would have been another Valkyria, which isn't necessarily good. So yeah, but again, you could always go into Aeronite Parshath, but I don't really want to get rid of these. So that's just how it's gonna go. All right, so, but yeah, y'all kind of get the idea how the deck functions. But again, there are certain weaknesses to this deck. So if you don't have like the right pieces, it can be kind of devastating from there. All right, so let's see what I open up this time around. Hopefully our hand is a little bit better. So, you know, one can only hope, right? All right, so let's see. Opening hand this time is Ultimate Providence, not too bad. Another Pot of Duality, Solemn Strike, Sanctum of Parshath, and last but not least, okay, Sanctuary in the Sky. So at least we don't have to go through the hassle of searching it. But then again, we already have 2 cards that count as Sanctuary in the Sky. But you know what, just for the sake of it, go ahead and activate it. Activate this. Play your Pot of Duality. Let's see if we get Guiding Ariande. Okay, Bountiful Artemis, another Pot of Duality, and another Bountiful Artemis. For sure you're going to keep one of these monsters because, you know, you don't want to add Pot of Duality. So, but on the plus side, we got something, right? And if anything, just set the Solemn Strike and that's it. That way you at least get a draw for the Bountiful Artemis. Or if you want to, you could actually set both of them just in case you happen to draw into something that could come in handy. So let's go and activate, or not activate, but normal summon Bountiful Artemis, and then you just set both your counter traps. Of course, Ultimate Providence will have to force us to discard something depending on what we're going to negate, but let's say your opponent does like an Inherent Summon. You can just play Solemn Strike like a Fusion, Xyz, Synchro, Link Summon. Solemn Strike will definitely help that out. You pay for your 1,500. Artemis will allow you to draw 1 card. Okay, so we get into Solemn Judgment. Of course, for Ultimate Providence to work, we would need, like, if your opponent uses a monster, you would have to have a monster. If your opponent uses a spell, we'd have to have a spell. It's not likely he's going to use a trap right now, considering that traps usually have to be set. The only card I could think of is Impermanence, but no one's going to waste it on that. So, yeah, that's really all we got right there. But, you know, sometimes, like I said, these Solemn cards just might be enough to, like, turn the duel around just like that. So, depending on how well it goes around. Okay, our next draw. Okay, it's Minerva this time, actually. So, we would set that, and then you can reset, you can basically set Solemn Judgment. And the reason why Minerva is so good, especially together with Sanctum or the actual Sanctuary in the Sky, is that whenever you activate a trap card, or counter trap, not only does she gain 500 attack points, but she recurs any counter trap of a different name from the one you just played. So you can essentially get Solemn Strike back. So this is basically how you recur your advantage. So your opponent tries again, you know, he summons a monster, you Solemn Judgment that, pay half your life points, Artemis will draw you, this will do this. So you get another Pot of Duality, Strike comes back to your hand from the grave, and boom. It's like, Minerva by itself is already like a boss monster in her own right, and plus they already have the power boost too, so that's pretty neat. So next turn, again, okay, Ties of the Brethren, but I wouldn't play it right now because, you know, if you activate that card, you can't act into your battle phase, and that's what you want to go for. So you'd probably just play Pot of Duality instead. Okay, another Bountiful Artemis, Pot of Duality, and, oh, so, Guiding Ariande. So definitely keep that for sure, because now we don't have to pay costs anymore. And then from there, you just basically activate that, and then boom. Now, if you don't like Ties of the Brethren, if you feel like it conflicts way too much, try Card of Demise. Card of Demise, to me, is just as good, in my opinion. I just chose Ties just because like I like what it can do a little bit better, but I may go back to playing Card of Demise. But this is essentially how Counter Fairies plays. Like, it's not the fastest deck. It's not like a deck that likes to spam out a lot of monsters. You're just focusing on your fairies mainly and your counter traps. That's really all this deck does. So, again, like, it does need some tweaking, you know. Depends on how well it, you can, like, get into your, not your combo pieces, but your key pieces as fast as you can. So, yeah. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and as always, I will catch you guys again next time.